Hi, welcome. This is day 28, and the topic for today is Speak to the King. And today's topic was inspired by my beautiful friend Linda Leland. And I love this one because many people are able to do this work when they're by themselves. And the second they're with other people, they revert back to their old ways. And this is just a great reminder to center yourself whenever you're out in public and when you're with other people. And it's just a fun way to remember who you're talking to. And so I want to spend the next couple days just recapping on listening and seeing with Christ's vision. And then after day 30, we're going to be moving into a new phase, which is about purpose. And this is a 40-day experiment, just like Jesus as our inspiration, and it does end. And many people would like to just continue to stay in the 40 days and get videos every day. And there comes a point where you really see you have wings to fly. And that's my job, is to kick you out of the nest and to say, okay, you have everything you need. And it's time now to go out. And this is what Jesus did. He left the desert. And he had not performed one miracle before his 40 days. And I want you to remember what you did when you made a commitment. Is just like Jesus, you said goodbye to your old life. And you had an open mind. And you said, okay, I'm going to enter into a new space. And you're not going back to that old life anymore. And this place in the desert is a way to make that connection with God. And you were led here by Spirit to be tempted. He was led to be tempted by the devil. And you came here to be tempted by your ego. And to see that nothing can tempt you. You don't go back to your sharp-edged toys anymore. And it's 40 days. You live here consistently and you see that you can do it. And you're choosing for God. And you say, Lord, here I am. My life is yours now. And once that connection has been made, then you leave the desert. And that's when the miracles began to happen. And you will have followers, just like Jesus. It's a call. You go out from this place as the light in the world. And the light that you are, nothing you're doing, but the light that you are calls others out of darkness to follow you. And not follow you in the sense of being a teacher or a guru. You're following the light the same way you followed me. And what a good teacher does is just remind everyone the power that they have and helps them to go out. And this is what Jesus did. He had disciples, and at a certain point he said, okay, now you're going to go out without me because God is with you. And you are physicians of the Lord, and go heal the sick and raise the dead. And of course, this is a place of incredible fear for many people because you think, I don't know how to. And you don't need to know how to because you're not going to be doing the healing. Your remembrance of your identity is how the healing is accomplished. And you always remember, I'm never alone. And it's God who's doing the healing. If you look at Jesus' stories from the Bible, he always said the same thing. It is not I, but the Father who does the works. And he said, I and the Father and me, all glory to God. It's not me. And so what I'd like to do today is to just strengthen how you interact with people. So Speak to the King is just this great fun reminder when you're with another person of speaking to the light, of going beyond the body, beyond the person, beyond the story, beyond the identity, and speak to the King. And when you speak to the King in a person, the King comes out. So what I've found in my life is the only thing anyone ever really wants is to be seen and to be heard. And not to join someone in their suffering, but to really be present with another. And for many years, I was not present. My mind was always just thinking I have to be somewhere else. And my story was, I'm so busy. That was my story. And my physical life gave me a picture of being busy all the time. And I made this decision that I was going to be present, that I was just going to really be with another person when I'm with them. I'm going to look them in the eyes. I'm going to release my stories of who I think they are, forget their past, forget my past, and just listen. And knowing God is with me. And just to see their holiness and their innocence. And in the beginning, you do have to practice this. And what I wanted to read is from the text of A Course in Miracles, chapter 1. It talks about what's called charity. And it says that charity is a form of love. And it says, charity is a way of looking at another as if he had already gone far beyond his actual accomplishments in time. So this is very similar to the horizontal vertical teaching that I gave, where you go out of your timeline and you can land in a future time, and maybe only 1 minute actually passed in this time sequence, but 10 years has actually passed. And all of the drama and events and accidents and sicknesses get snipped out, and you don't have to go through them anymore because you don't need those forgiveness lessons anymore. And it's the same, only this time you are helping your brother go far beyond his accomplishments by seeing him already beyond his accomplishments. You know, someone's telling me a story of how they're sick and they're sad and they have no money and they're, you know, a victim. And no one says they're a victim, but that's how people act often. And you're simply remembering your own royal heritage. You remember your own identity. You can't see the king in another until you remember the king in yourself and the holy child. And then from that place, you're seeing right through the story and you're listening. This is where you're listening for God's voice now about what to say and what to do. You're joining with another, and you're seeing them beyond their story. You actually see them as healed and whole and free from that story. And I want you to just practice with this idea of seeing the king in another. And again, you can't see the king in another unless you know the king in yourself first. So it's just a really fast practice for you to remember who you are as light, as love, as joy, as one. And I wanted to close with this great letter that I received. And I want you to find your false way of being card today. I'm just going to read this letter. It says, "Hi Lisa, thank you so much for the love that you share. I want to share with you an experience I had this evening. Tonight I was reviewing my commitment letter and also the false old way of being card and the true new way of being card. And when I read all that I had written on the false way of being card, I discovered that I no longer felt any of what I had written. I could not hardly believe only a few weeks ago I had painfully written down all of these things, crying in physical and emotional pain, not ever imagining that I could really be free of those experiences and feelings and thoughts. And this evening when I read these words, it was as if I was reading another person's journal. I couldn't really believe that I felt all of these things just a few weeks ago. And to be experiencing what I'm experiencing this evening. Thank you, Lisa. I am a child of God. Lord, here I am. Thank you." I love that. So I want you to get your false way of being card, and I want you to really see if these things are gone for you now. And if they're not, don't worry about it. And then I want you to rip it up. I want you to rip this card up. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be moving out of watching and doing into being. And this is an old one. I've actually kept my card. I'm none of these things anymore. You know, complaining, procrastinating, weak, afraid, full of doubt, playing small, hiding, guilty all the time, never doing enough, never good enough. You know, like, who is this person? Wishing my life was different, wishing, wondering, waiting, lazy, distracted, judgmental, full of shame. And I just want you to just have a look at it and see how far you've come. And then I want you to just get rid of the card. And we're going to move out of watching like a hawk. And we're moving into being now. And we're close to the end of our 40 days. And you have wings to fly. And you're going to really start to use them. You're going to see. So I thank you for being here with me. I love you. I honor you. I see you. I see the king in you.